Hello, this is Bradley Thayer. I want to do a very quick introduction to Python and database. So, databases come in all sorts of brands and types and pay versions and free versions. Uh, People make careers out of being in databases, called database administrators or DBAs. Um, you're not going to become a DBA by watching this 5-minute video here. It's not the idea. The idea is that you just understand the just some of the basic interactions between Python code and the database. The database we've chosen here is MySQL. Now, South Mountain will have a course in MySQL, and that course, the MySQL portion will run 7-8 weeks or so, somewhere in that general area. But so there's more that in depth we can go than just what I'm doing here right now. But again, you're just watching, you're not writing the code, so hopefully it will, it'll be something that you find beneficial and help you perhaps into your next venture and springboard you into more Python code as you move forward. So what I've done is I've installed MySQL on my computer here, and I've loaded data into the table United States. And we have the same data we've been using, or a subset of it, the state name, capital, and abbreviation. I didn't load all the abbreviations in on purpose, but I did load the name and the capitals in. We can do things with our database. It's a structured form of data. Okay, so what I've done is select star. It's like select all columns from United States, and there it is. All 50. I can be kind of specific. And there's California. I can say Arizona. I can get California and Arizona. I can get all the states that start with new. And there they are. I can return only the state name. So lots of things we can do with our database, and that again just skims the surface of our possibilities. So going over to the Python code here, what I've done is I've got a program here where I create a state class, something you've done or very similar to what you've done. I have this overridden string method which prints the state capital abbreviation in a format that I like. I have my connection to my database, very common looking connection string that you might see. Of course, it won't have my name as a user. The database name may be different, but just the format of the string is, this connection here is very, very universal looking. Okay. So I'm going to ask the user to enter a name. And while they don't enter exit, I'll continue through this loop. Again, we may write this code different, a little cleaner, separated into different modules for the division of the interest of this part of the program and that one. Let's not get into all that. Let's just focus on what can the database do. Okay, so if I enter an exit, the exit just like we thought. If I enter in a state or a territory, we'll start with our home state here of Arizona. So I print Arizona, Phoenix, and no data in database. So what if I want to now look at a new state? So let's look at our neighbor, California, and there we have it. Okay. Look at Georgia, and every time I type these in, you see in this highlighted line, no, I'm sorry, this highlighted line up here, I'm actually touching the database. Okay. I touch the database, I get the relevant information, I create the class, I print it. Okay. And then I ask the user for more information. So the next thing I can do is I can enter in a new state or territory. So just so I spell things correctly, I grabbed Puerto Rico as one of our territories in the United States. So we're going to enter in Puerto Rico. I am not a good speller, so I thought it better to write it down. And there we have it. So if I go back to my database and I select all, you'll see there's 51 states now, and Puerto Rico is the last one. Now, why is Puerto Rico last and all these others are alphabetized? Well, right now it's in order of the order I entered it in. So I entered in all the other 50 in order. So I can say something like this: order by state name. And you'll notice now that Puerto Rico is alphabetized. Okay, so another thing I can do is I can update the abbreviation. So I don't have many abbreviations here, right? Most of them are missing. So let's go to back to Arizona, and I'm going to say to update abbreviation and say AZ. And now if I rerun this query, Arizona now has a state abbreviation. Okay. So as you can see here, we did an update query. I had an insert. Firstly, I had a select. That's just when we got to the state. I had an insert where I added Puerto Rico, and I had an update where I adjusted the state abbreviation. And again, if we spent some time and discussed best practices and whatnot, there's better ways to write this code here. The idea is that you just see that Python does interact with the database, in this case MySQL, but it could be Oracle or SQL Server or MongoDB or Neo4j, just lots of databases. But hopefully you see that it's an opportunity for you to learn a little more when you leave this class, or if you take a C# or a Java class or a PHP, all these other courses that you may have an opportunity to interact with a database. Python in that regard is just like the others, where you can contact the database and you can write information, you can get information, and you can update information. And this is a very common storage mechanism for small, medium, large companies. So if you want to take your programming to the next level, I encourage you to either take additional courses or practice on your own, or some way or another try out this database work. You can download a free version of MySQL from the internet. MySQL, Oracle website, I believe, has it. So if you do that, install it, follow the directions about installing it and setting it up, you can get this practice in on your own. There are countless YouTube pages you can look at for understanding how databases work. And again, I mentioned that South Mountain will have a course in the MySQL database in the fall here in 2019. So if you have any additional questions on databases, on Python and databases, please feel free to contact me. However, now that you've watched the video, there will be a quiz, a one-question quiz, and you'll be on your honor asked to say yes that you did watch this video, and that will count as your quiz grade for this week. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoy the insight into the database, and I hope you enjoy that week 8 is kind of a light week on work, so that you can concentrate on your final exam. Thank you, and have a fun time with your week 7, week 8, and final exam assignments. Thank you.